Okay, I hope my voice is audible. Anyone please reply once again.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay, so today we will start with the next chapter, that is chapter number 4, torsion of the circular shaft. So chapter number 3, that is principal stresses and the principal strain. That is the chapter number 3 that we will take at the end. After finishing this chapter number 4, we will move to the section number 2. We will finish all the chapters from the section number 2, and at the end we will take your chapter number 3, because in order to understand the chapter number 3 concepts, first of all we need to understand all the basic concepts related to the all types of stress, strain from remaining 7 chapters, and then at the end we will take the chapter number 3. Okay, so in the today's lecture we will start with the chapter number 4 from the section number 1, and name of the chapter is the torsion of the circular shaft. Okay, so up till now, what are the 2 chapters we have covered as a simple stress and strain and the strain energy and the impact load. So in that particular chapters, we have calculated the different parameters, like we have calculated the stress value, strain value. Sometimes we have calculated tensile stresses, compressive stresses. Sometimes we have calculated the longitudinal strain, linear strain. Sometimes we have calculated the Young's modulus value. Sometimes we have calculated change in volume, volumetric stress. Like that, all the parameters we have calculated in the chapter number 1. And in the chapter number 2, we have calculated the amount of energy stored in the body if it is subjected to the external load. Okay. So if you see the chapter number 1 and the chapter number 2 concepts, maximum times in the chapter 1 and 2, whatever the stress value we have calculated, that stress will be the linear stress, and whatever the strain value we have calculated, that strain will be the linear strain. That means the linear stress is represented by sigma, and the linear strain is represented by the epsilon, or it is represented by the small e. Why we have calculated the linear stress as a sigma, and why we have calculated the linear strain as a E? Because in the chapter number 1 and in the chapter number 2, whatever the force is applied on the body, that force is along the axis. Please keep in mind. That force is along the axis. म्हणजे ज्या डायरेक्शन मध्ये फोर्स अप्लाय झालेला आहे त्याच डायरेक्शन मध्ये जर तुमचा स्ट्रेस इंड्यूस होत असेल तर त्या स्ट्रेसला आपण काय म्हणतोय, लिनियर स्ट्रेस म्हणतोय. आणि त्याच डायरेक्शन मध्ये जर स्ट्रेन इंड्यूस होत असेल तर दॅट स्ट्रेन इज ऑल्सो कॉल्ड एज ए लिनियर स्ट्रेन. That means the force is applied along the axis. That axis may be horizontal axis, that axis may be vertical axis. If the force is applied in x direction, your sigma will be developed in x direction, and strain is also developed in x direction. If I am applying the force in y direction, then your sigma will be developed in y direction, and strain is also developed in the y direction. Means we have to clear that the linear stress and the linear strain will be developed in the direction of forces. असं नाही की x डायरेक्शन मध्ये फोर्स अप्लाय झालेला आहे आणि y direction मध्ये stress induce होतो. Yes, some stress is developing in y direction, but whatever the maximum value of the stress is there, it will be in the direction of force, and that parameter already we have calculated in the chapter number 1 and in the chapter number 2. So in the chapter number 1, we have solved the problem based on the principle of superposition. We have solved the problem based on the bars of bearing cross section. We have solved the problem based on the composite bars. We have solved the problems based on the volumetric stress concept. We have solved the problem on the elastic constant. So in all this particular variety of the problems, whatever the force is applied, that force is applied along the axis, and accordingly we have calculated the sigma value and we have calculated the strain value. In the second chapter also, if the force is applied gradually, if force is applied suddenly, if force is applied in impact condition, means in gradual condition the force is applied along horizontal axis. In suddenly applied condition, force is applied in horizontal axis. In impact condition, जो movable load आपल्या खालच्या बाजूला येऊन आदळतोय, that is also applied in the vertical direction. Means in this second chapter also the forces are applied along the axis, and accordingly we have calculated the sigma value. In chapter 1, we have not calculated shear stress value in any type of problem. In chapter number 2 also, we have not calculated the shear stress value in any type of problem. Only sigma value we have calculated because the forces are applied along the axis. But the chapter number 4, that is torsion of the circular shaft, it is totally different. And this particular concept is totally applicable for the rotating shaft. You know about the shaft. Shaft is one of the rotating element which is used in various types of application. If you see the machine, there are so many machines are there. For example, lathe machine is there, milling machine is there, then shaper machine is there, then drilling machine is there. And if you take the example of our day-to-day applications like two-wheelers, four-wheelers, in each and every application, the shaft plays very important role. It is a rotating element, and also the shaft is used to transmit the power from one shaft to the another shaft by using the gears or pulleys or the chain drives or the belt drives.
Yeah.
So someone mic is on, please mute. Okay. The shaft is the rotating element. If when the shaft will start rotation, if your machine is in working condition. If the machine is stationary, the shaft is also stationary. If shaft is not rotating, nothing will be developed in the rotating shaft. जर शाफ्ट स्टेशनरी असेल तर त्याच्यामध्ये कुठल्याच प्रकारचा स्ट्रेस डेव्हलप होणार नाही, कुठल्याच प्रकारचा स्ट्रेन डेव्हलप होणार नाही. But if it is in rotating condition, something will be developed in that particular shaft, and that values we have to calculate in this particular chapter number 4. Therefore, the heading is given as a torsion of the circular shaft. Now, in this particular shaft, tensile stress will not be developed, compressive stress will not be developed, volumetric stress will not be developed. Here, only shear stress and shear strain will be developed because the rotating shaft is subjected to the torsion, or it is also called as a torque. रोटेटिंग शाफ्ट मध्ये कधीच टेन्साइल स्ट्रेस डेव्हलप होत नाही. रोटेटिंग शाफ्ट मध्ये कधीच व्हॉल्यूमेट्रिक स्ट्रेस डेव्हलप होत नाही. सिमिलरली इन रोटेटिंग शाफ्ट compressive stress कधीच डेव्हलप होत नाही, because the rotating shaft is always subjected to the torsion, it is always subjected to the torque, and due to that torque, only one type of stress is developed in the rotating shaft. That stress is called as a shear stress, and only one type of strain will be developed in the rotating shaft. That strain is called as a shear strain, and that values we have to calculate in this particular chapter number 4 as a torsion of circular shaft. How to calculate that? We are having the list of the formulas that we will see whenever we are solving the numericals. But now we are going to understand how the shaft is subjected to the torsion, how it is subjected to the twisting moment, and how it is subjected to the shear stresses and the shear strain. कधी shaft मध्ये shear stress develop होतो, कधी shaft मध्ये shear strain develop होतो, that we will discuss in this particular introduction part. Okay. Now this is the content of this particular chapter. So first of all, we are having theory of the torsion of circular shaft. So we will discuss all the basic and the basic introduction related to the circular shaft in this particular point number 1. Then assumptions made in the theory of torsion. Whenever we are using the shaft for any type of application, anytime. Suppose I have to use the shaft in two-wheeler, suppose I have to use the shaft in the four-wheelers, or I have to use the shaft in any type of machines. Before it is using in particular applications, what condition that shaft has to satisfy? What assumptions we have to consider whenever we are using this particular shaft in any application? That also we are going to discuss as a assumptions made in theory of torsion. ज्या ज्या ठिकाणी आपण शाफ्ट यूज करणार आहे त्या ठिकाणी शाफ्टनं कुठल्या कुठल्या कंडिशन सॅटिस्फाय केल्या पाहिजेत, दॅट वी विल डिस्कस ऍज अ assumptions made in theory of torsion. Then you are having one small derivation as a torsion formula, and if you remind, T upon J is equal to tau upon R is equal to G theta by L. This is the torsion formula. T upon J. T means torque, J means polar moment of inertia, tau means shear stress, R means radius of shaft, G means modulus of rigidity, constant parameter, theta means angle of twist, and length means length of the shaft. And this total formula is called as a torsion formula, and we are having the derivation of this particular torsion formula also in your syllabus, and that derivation also we will take. How this particular formula obtained? T upon G is equal to tau upon R is equal to G theta by L. हा formula आला कसा? That derivation also we are having in this particular chapter. And in the last fourth point, we are having the numericals. That is determination of torsional shear stress, angular twist for the solid shaft and the hollow shaft. Also, we are going to calculate the power transmission capacity of the shaft. How much power the shaft will transfer if it is rotating for the particular application. For example, shaft is rotating for 100 RPM. Then how much power it will get transferred? If the speed is increases from 100 to 400 RPM, then what is the power? If the speed is increases from 400 to 1000 RPM, then what is the power? So that value also we are going to calculate in this particular chapter number 4. So you are having three variety of the problems in this particular chapter. The first type is based related to the shear stress and the shear strain calculation. Then second point is related to the diameter calculation. You are designing the shaft, means we have to calculate the diameter. ज्यावेळेस आपल्याला shaft डिझाइन करायचा असतो, shaft डिझाइन करतो म्हणजे आपण shaftचा एकच पॅरामीटर काढतो, that is called as a diameter of shaft. That shaft may be solid in cross section or that shaft may be hollow in cross section. जरी solid असेल किंवा जरी hollow असेल, ज्यावेळेस आपल्याला shaft हा पॅरामीटर डिझाइन करावा लागतो किंवा तो कंपाऊंड आपल्याला डिझाइन करावा लागतो, at that time we are calculating the diameters of the shaft. So based on that, you are having the second type of the problem. And in the third type, we are having some shafts connected in parallel section and the shafts connected in the rectangular section, or like that. Type number 3 you are having. So one by one we will discuss that time, and I will give the list of the formulas according to the respective type of the problem. But this is the total content which we have to study in this particular torsion of the circular shaft. Okay. So now we will start with the introduction part. So as I have given the little bit introduction about the how the shaft is not subjected to the tensile stress, compressive stress, volumetric stress, like that, and how it is subjected to the torsion, and due to that particular torsion, how the shear stress and the shear strain will be induced in the rotating shaft. So for that purpose, here I will draw the two figures. Through this particular figure, you can understood. So this is one shaft. This is the figure number 1, and this is the second shaft. This is the figure number 2. Okay, so these are the two figures. Just I have drawn for your explanation purpose. So when shaft is subjected to the torsion, what is meant by the torque, that we have to understood through this particular two figures. So now what happened? The shaft is the rotating element. You know about that. When we will start the machine, the shaft is also start rotating in clockwise direction. Sometimes it is start rotating in the anti-clockwise direction. It depends on the machine. Depends upon the application of the machine. Sometimes the shaft is rotating in clockwise direction, sometimes shaft is rotating in anti-clockwise direction. But don't worry about that, whether it is rotating clockwise or whether it is rotating anti-clockwise. But we have to think about that. The shaft is the rotating element, and once it will start its rotation, at the same time, that shaft is subjected to the some amount of torque. Please keep in mind. If shaft start rotation, it may be in clockwise direction or it may be in anti-clockwise direction. At the same time, the shaft is subjected to the some amount of torque, which is indicated by the capital T. Torque is represented by the capital T. Means exactly what happened. If you think about the figure number 1, where this is the shaft. This is the shaft whose one end is fixed. This is the left end. The left end is fixed, and this is the right end which is totally free. In the figure number 1, one shaft is there whose one end is fixed and another end is free, and at the free end, if I am applying this T amount of torque, if I am applying this T amount of torque, this shaft will get twisted. हा टॉर्क मी फ्रेंडला अप्लाय केल्यामुळं दिस शाफ्ट विल गेट ट्विस्टेड, म्हणजे हा शाफ्ट काय होणार आहे, त्याच्या ओन ऍक्सिस भोवती काय होणार आहे, ट्विस्ट होणार आहे. अँड ड्यू टू दॅट पर्टिक्युलर ट्विस्टिंग मुवमेंट वन स्ट्रेस इज डेव्हलप्ड इन दिस पर्टिक्युलर शाफ्ट. That stress is called as a shear stress, which is indicated by tau. What happen? One shaft is there whose one end is fixed and another end is free, and जी काय free end आहे, at this particular free end I am applying some amount of torque, and due to this particular torque the shaft will get twisted about their own axis. And due to that particular twisting moment, one stress is developed in that particular shaft. That stress is called as a shear stress. And one strain is developed in the rotating shaft. That strain is called as a shear strain, and that shear strain is indicated by phi. Here there is no any tensile stress, there is no any compressive stress, there is no any volumetric strain, there is no any longitudinal strain. Nothing is developed in this particular rotating shaft due to the twisting moment. Why twisting moment is taking place? Because at the one end of the shaft the T amount of torque is applied, and due to that particular twisting moment the stress developed in the shaft will be considered as a shear stress, and the strain developed in that particular shaft is called as a shear strain. Now why twisting is taking place here? Because one end of the shaft is fixed. If I will give the simple example in Marathi, I will give. बघा, आपण काय करतो, आपल्या मित्राचा चेष्टेमध्ये आपण आपला हात पिरगळतो. If you see the boundary condition of our hand, okay, at the elbow side, at our elbow side it is fixed. बघा, आपल्या हाताचं जर एक्झाम्पल घेतलं, it is fixed at one end and it is free at another end. म्हणजे एल्बो साइडची साइड काय तुमची फिक्स आहे, आणि जे आपले काय फिंगर्स आहेत that side is totally free. But sometimes what happen, your friend is rotating your hand. बघा, चेष्टेमध्ये आपण काय करतो, आपल्या मित्राचा हात पिरगळतो. तो हात पिरगळताना आपण काय करतो, जी काय त्याची फिंगर साइड आहे त्या फिंगर साइडला आपण धरतो आणि we will rotate that particular hand in clockwise direction or in anti-clockwise direction. म्हणजे चेष्टा करण्यासाठी आपण काय करतो, we will rotate that particular hand in clockwise direction or in anti-clockwise direction. Due to that rotation, immediately there is a pain in your hand, and you are having this example. आपल्या मित्राने जर आपला हात पिरगळला आता की लगेच आपल्याला आपल्या हाताच्या सेंटर पोझिशनला किंवा आपल्या एल्बोच्या साइडला लगेच पेन्स येतात. Why? Because the shaft is twisted, means your hand is also rotating about their own axis. मग आपल्या हँडचा ऍक्सिस कसा असणार आहे, परफेक्टली हॉरिझॉन्टल. जसा काय तुमचा हॉरिझॉन्टल हँड आहे तसाच त्याचा ऍक्सिस पण असणार आहे, आणि त्या ऍक्सिस भोवती जर तुमचा हात रोटेट केला तर इमिडिएटली देयर इज अ पेन. म्हणजेच देयर इज अ समथिंग अपोजिशन टू रोटेट युअर हँड. जर हात तुमच्या दुसऱ्या बाजूला फिक्स नसलाच असता आणि तो हात तुम्ही किती जरी रोटेट केला असता तर त्याच्यामध्ये तुम्हाला पेन झाले नसते. Getting, as your hand is fixed at one end, another end is free, and at the free end, if I will twist it, immediately there is a pain, means something is developed in that particular shaft, due to which the twisting movement is developed, and ज्यावेळेस आपल्याला पेन येतात, means something is developed. That stress is called as the shear stress, and the strain is called as a shear strain. But what is the boundary condition? Your hand should be fixed at one end and another end is free. जर दोन्ही बाजू फ्री असतील आणि जर तुम्ही त्याला क्लॉकवाइज मध्ये रोटेट केलं तर त्या शाफ्ट मध्ये कधीच ट्विस्टिंग मुवमेंट जनरेट होणार नाही. ड्यू टू द फिक्स्ड साइड, दुसरी साइड फिक्स्ड असल्यामुळे एका ठराविक रोटेशन पर्यंत आपण तो हँड आपण रोटेट करू शकतो, पण त्याच्या लिमिटच्या बाहेर जर तुम्ही हात रोटेट केला तर तुमच्या हातामध्ये लगेच पेन्स येतात. व्हाय इट इज? बिकॉज इट एक्सिड्स द ट्विस्टिंग लिमिट. तुमच्या हाताला पण काय तर लिमिट आहे ना, जर त्या आतल्या एल्बोनं किंवा त्या आतले जे काय आपले बोन्स असतात त्याने जर त्याचं लिमिट क्रॉस केलं तर तुमचा हात लगेच दुखायला लागतो. व्हाय? बिकॉज दॅट बोन्स, दॅट एल्बोज आर हॅव्हिंग सम लिमिट. त्याच्या लिमिटच्या बाहेर जर तुम्ही त्याला ट्विस्ट केलं तर त्या ठिकाणी पेन जनरेट होणार, म्हणजेच त्या ठिकाणी तुमचा एक अपोजिट फोर्स डेव्हलप होतो, अँड दॅट फोर्स इज कॉल्ड ॲज ए ट्विस्टिंग मूवमेंट. And in a such condition, there is no any tensile stress, there is no any compressive stress. In such condition, there is a shear stress and there is a shear strain. So, and that we have to understood from the figure number 1, where one end of the shaft is fixed and another end is free. म्हणजे मी अप्लाय करताना टॉर्क इथं फक्त एकाच साइडला अप्लाय केलेला आहे. नीड नॉट रिक्वायर्ड टू अप्लाइड ऍट द लेफ्ट साइड, कारण लेफ्ट साइड ही टोटली फिक्स्ड आहे. Now please tell me, if I am applying this particular torque at the free end, the maximum twisting is taking place at the free end or fixed end. Maximum twisting कुठे होणार आहे, फ्री एंड ला होणार आहे का फिक्स्ड एंड ला होणार आहे? Yes, the maximum twisting is taking place at the free end or fixed end?
Free end. Free end.
Free end. Correct. The maximum twisting is taking place at the free end because the maximum limit is available at the free side, so we can twist that particular shaft at the free end. हा शाफ्ट इकडच्या बाजूला फिक्स नसल्यामुळं आपण तो मॅक्सिमम ह्याच्यामध्ये ट्विस्ट करू शकतो, पण जे काय ट्विस्टिंग होणार आहे ह्यात शाफ्ट या फिक्स्ड एंड पाशी काय असणार आहे, कमी असणार, बिकॉज दिस इज द फिक्स्ड साइड. फिक्स्ड साइड काय करते, त्या ट्विस्टिंगला अपोज करते. The fixed side is provided at the left side means it is opposing to that particular twisting movement. जर ह्या ठिकाणी फिक्स्ड साइड नसलीच असते तर ह्याच्यामध्ये कुठलाच ट्विस्टिंग मूवमेंट जनरेट झाला नसता. तो शाफ्ट तसाच आपण किती जरी वेळ रोटेट केलं तर तो तसाच रोटेट झाला असता क्लॉकवाईज किंवा अँटी क्लॉकवाईज मध्ये. जोपर्यंत आपण त्याला दुसऱ्या साइडला अपोज करत नाही तोपर्यंत त्या शाफ्ट मध्ये ट्विस्टिंग मूवमेंट जनरेट होत नाही. आणि जोपर्यंत ट्विस्टिंग मूवमेंट जनरेट होत नाही तोपर्यंत त्या शाफ्ट मध्ये कुठल्याच प्रकारचा स्ट्रेस डेव्हलप होत नाही किंवा कुठल्याच प्रकारचा स्ट्रेन डेव्हलप होत नाही. That you have to understood means if the shaft it is in rotating element, at that time it is subjected to the twisting moment. It is subjected to the twisting moment, and due to which the shear stress induced in the shaft, due to which shear strain induced in the shaft, and that we have to calculate. If shaft is stationary, no torque will be developed. That means torque becomes equal to 0. If torque value is equal to 0, your twisting moment is also equal to 0. If twisting moment is equal to 0, the shear stress is also 0 and the shear strain is also 0. So some twisting moment should be developed in the rotating shaft due to this particular T amount of torque. Then and then only we are able to calculate the amount of shear stress value and the amount of shear strain value. Okay, so this is about the figure number 1. Now in the figure number 2, if you see once again, one more shaft is there. This is also one shaft. Okay. Now, if I have to calculate the sum amount of stress and the sum amount of strain, or if I have to calculate the twisting moment, हा shaft किती angle ने twist झालाय? We are calculating the twisting moment that is represented by theta. थीटा म्हणजे जेव्हा आपला मित्र आपला हात पिरगाळतो तो किती अँगल मध्ये तुमचा ट्विस्ट केलाय किंवा हा किती अँगल मध्ये तुमचा हात पिरगाळलाय, that we are calculating means we are calculating the twisting moment. Please keep in mind, twisting moment is always measured in angle theta. किती अँगल ने तुमचा हात पिरगाळलाय किंवा किती अँगल ने तुमचा शाफ्ट हा ट्विस्ट झालाय, that we are calculating means twisting moment. जर शाफ्ट मध्ये हा थीटा डेव्हलप झाला असेल तरच त्याच्यामध्ये शियर स्ट्रेस येतो आणि तरच त्याच्यामध्ये शियर स्ट्रेस. And that we have understood from the figure number 1. That is, one end is fixed means fixed end plays very important role. जर fixed end नसलाच असता तर त्या ठिकाणी twisting moment develop झाला नसता. Now in the second figure, again here I have to calculate the angle of twist as a theta. I have to calculate the shear stress as a tau. Shear stress is indicated by tau, and I have to calculate the shear strain, that is phi. How it is to be calculated? So this shaft is also subjected to the sum amount of torque. So here the torque is applied at the left side. This is the torque which is applied at the left side. Okay, so it is applied in the maybe clockwise direction. It is applied in the clockwise direction. If you see the boundary condition, left hand of the shaft and the right hand of the shaft both are free. In the figure number 2, left hand side and the right hand side of the shaft are free. And now I have applied the T amount of torque at the right side in clockwise direction. In clockwise direction. Now please tell me, if I am applying this particular torque at one side in clockwise direction, whether this shaft is under the torsion or not. Whether this shaft is under the torsion or not. I have applied the torque at one side and it is in clockwise direction only. Whether this shaft is under the torsion or not.
No, sir.
No. Why?
Free end.
Correct. The left hand side of the shaft is also free. तुम्ही इकडच्या बाजूला ह्या राईट साइडला जर तुम्ही क्लॉकवाइज मध्ये शाफ्ट रोटेट करायला लागला तर लेफ्ट हँड साइड पण त्याच डायरेक्शन मध्ये रोटेट होणार. करेक्ट. जर राईट हँड साइडला जर तुम्ही क्लॉकवाइज डायरेक्शन मध्ये जर टॉर्क अप्लाय केलेला असेल आणि लेफ्ट हँड साइडला तुम्ही काहीच केलेलं नसेल, इट इज टोटली फ्री. इकडच्या बाजूला तर हा फिक्स नाहीये. ठीक आहे. फिक्स असला असता तर त्या ठिकाणी टॉर्क डेव्हलप झाला असता. But the left hand side is totally free and we are applying the torque at right side in clockwise direction only. Means this left hand side is also rotated in the clockwise direction. No twisting movement will be developed. Then what we have to do at the left side in order to make this particular shaft under torsion? जर मला हा shaft torsion condition मध्ये जर आणायचा असेल तर left side ला मला काय करावं लागेल?
Twisting force apply.
We have to apply the twisting force at the left side also, but in which direction?
Opposite direction.
Clockwise or anti-clockwise?
Anti-clockwise.
Anti-clockwise, correct. In order to make this particular shaft under torsion, at one side I have to apply the T amount of torque in clockwise direction and same T amount of torque in anti-clockwise direction. If I am making like this only, then and then only there is a possibility of twisting. If I am applying the torque at both sides in same direction, left side upon clockwise direction and right side upon clockwise direction, only shaft is rotating in the clockwise direction, nothing any twisting movement will be developed. त्याच्यामध्ये कुठल्याच प्रकारचा twisting movement develop होत नाही. इथं आपण अँटी क्लॉकवाइज मध्ये अप्लाय करतो म्हणजे काय करतोय? हा क्लॉकवाइज मधला टॉर्क अँटी क्लॉकवाइज ला अपोज करतोय आणि अँटी क्लॉकवाइजचा टॉर्क हा क्लॉकवाइज ला अपोज करतोय. दे आर अपोजिंग मीन्स देयर इज सम ट्विस्टिंग मूवमेंट that is theta. And that theta value we have to calculate. And if in the shaft there is a twisting moment, immediately there is a shear stress value and there is a shear strain value, and that value we can calculate for the second condition also. So you have to understand the basic difference between the figure number 1 and the figure number 2. In figure number 1, the shaft is fixed at one side, so need not require to apply the torque at the fixed side. तो फिक्स्ड साइड काय करते आहे? त्या फ्री एंडला अप्लाय केलेल्या टॉर्कला ऑटोमॅटिकली काय करते? अपोज करते. So need not require to apply the torque at the fixed side. So we are applying the torque at one end only, and here there is a possibility of twisting. Similarly, in the second figure, the shaft is totally free from the both side. So at one side, I am applying the torque in the clockwise direction, and at another side, I am applying the torque in the anti-clockwise direction. And due to that clockwise and anti-clockwise direction, here the shaft is under the torsion, means there is a twisting moment in the shaft, and that twisting moment we have to calculate. And once we are able to calculate the twisting moment, we are able to calculate the shear stress value, and we are able to calculate the shear strain. That's why here in the figure number 2, we have to apply one torque in clockwise direction and another torque in the anti-clockwise direction. दोन्हीचे जर डायरेक्शन आपण सेम केल्या तर there is no any twisting moment, means twisting moment is equal to 0, torque is equal to 0, means shear stress is also equal to 0, and your shear strain is also equal to 0. So this is the conditions of the torsion of the shaft when shaft is subjected to the torsion. And when this shaft is subjected to the torsion, when it is start rotating in any application, maybe in the lathe machine, milling machine, drilling machine, in our four-wheeler vehicles, if you take the example of axle of our four-wheeler vehicle, sometimes axle will get break. बघा तुम्ही शुगर इंडस्ट्रीमध्ये ट्रॅक्टर असतात. For such tractors, such situations are happening again and again because they are adding more and more load in the trolleys, more than limit. Limitच्या बाहेर that sugar canes are feeding in that particular trolley, and that trolley will reach their maximum limit, and at one condition that shaft will get break because that shaft is unable to sustain the maximum amount of load, and तो जर load त्या shaftला sustain झाला नाही तर that shaft will get break. Such situations are happening in the so many applications. Therefore, in such applications, we have to go for the testing of the shaft. मग आपण shaft testing म्हणजे करतो म्हणजे काय करतो तर we are calculating their twisting moment, we are calculating their shear stress value, we are calculating the shear strain value, we are calculating the torque transmitting capacity. ज्यावेळी shaft एका shaft पासून दुसऱ्या shaft कडे power transmit करू शकतो किंवा करत असतो, at that time we have to check their torque transmitting capacity. If the shaft is unable to transmit the power from one shaft to the another shaft, at that time there is no any torque transmission taking place. जर power इकडच्या shaft पासून दुसरीकडे जात असताना जर shaft तुमचा ब्रेक होत असेल, then we can say that that shaft is unable to transmit the power or unable to transmit the torque from one shaft to the another shaft. मग ह्या ठिकाणी काय करावं लागेल तर we have to increase the torque transmitting capacity of the shaft. We have to increase the torque transmitting capacity of the shaft. If we are increasing the torque transmitting capacity, the minimum twisting will be taking place in the shaft, and due to that minimum twisting, minimum amount of stress will be developed, minimum amount of strain will be developed, so that shaft can be easily worked for the particular application. मग शाफ्ट आपण डिझाइन करतो म्हणजे काय करतो तर वी आर इन्क्रीजिंग देअर पॉवर ट्रान्समिशन कॅपॅसिटी अँड द टॉर्क ट्रान्समिशन कॅपॅसिटी. त्याच्या लिमिटच्या बाहेर जर तुम्ही जर त्या शाफ्टवर लोड दिला, वी आर डिझायनिंग द शाफ्ट टू रोटेट ऍट 1000 आरपीएम. आपण एक शाफ्ट डिझाइन केलेला आहे आणि तो कितीपर्यंत डिझाइन केलाय तर त्याने 1000 आरपीएम पर्यंत रोटेट झालं पाहिजे. मग 1000 च्या आत तो कधी पण रोटेट होईल. बट इफ वी आर गिव्हिंग द स्पीड अप टू 1500, एक कंडिशन असेल की त्या 1500 च्या आतच तुमचा शाफ्ट काय होणार आहे कुठं तर ब्रेक होणार. व्हाय? बिकॉज देअर लिमिट इज 1000 and you are rotating it more than 1000 means it reaches their limit, so there is a possibility of breaking. So once again we have to go for the redesigning the shaft. मग हा शाफ्ट आपल्याला काय करावा लागतो रिडिझाइन करावा लागतो. त्याचे डायमेन्शन, त्याचे डायमीटर, त्याचं मटेरियल आपल्याला चेक करावं लागतं आणि 1000 पासून तो आपल्याला काय करावा लागतो 2000 आरपीएम पर्यंत डिझाइन करावा लागतो म्हणजे तो 1500 आरपीएम ला इझिली वर्क होईल. So for particular applications we have to check their requirements. In our four wheeler vehicles shaft असाच डिझाइन केलेला नाहीये. We know for how much amount of speed we have to travel the vehicle. किती स्पीडने आपल्याला गाडी चालवायची आहे किंवा एखादा ड्रायव्हर किती मॅक्सिमम स्पीडने गाडी चालवू शकतो, that limit we are having and accordingly that shaft is designed. तो जर तुम्ही लिमिटच्या बाहेर जर गाडी पळवायला लागला आणि एका कंडिशनला जर शाफ्ट तुटला, there is a possibility of accidents and such situations are happening. So in order to avoid such situations, first of all we have to check the position of the shaft, at which RPM I have to use, at which power we have to use that particular shaft, how much amount of torque will be developed in that particular shaft. That parameters we have to check first and accordingly we have to design it. And during the design of the shaft, this all the parameters will be considered, that is twisting moment, power calculation, shear stress calculation and the shear strain calculation. Okay, so this is the basic introduction related to the shaft. And you know about the basic definition of torque. So torque is equal to force into perpendicular distance. For example, if this is your shaft, here I will give, this is the shaft, this is the axis. The torque is applied at the outer periphery like this, capital T. मग ह्या टॉर्क मधलं आणि ह्या सेंटर पॉइंट मधलं जे काय डिस्टन्स आहे, दॅट डिस्टन्स इज कॉल्ड ॲज ए perpendicular distance. And this is the definition of torque. Torque is equal to force into perpendicular distance. मग हा जो काय शाफ्टच्या आउटर पेरिफेरीला जो काय आपण फोर्स अप्लाय करतो, तो फोर्स आणि ह्या फोर्स मधलं आणि ह्या सेंटर पॉइंट मधलं जे काय डिस्टन्स आहे, दिस इज कॉल्ड ॲज अ परपेंडिक्युलर डिस्टन्स. आणि ह्या दोन्हीचा प्रॉडक्ट मीन्स द अमाउंट ऑफ टॉर्क डेव्हलप्ड इन द रोटेटिंग शाफ्ट. So whenever we have to calculate the torque, so we have to check how much amount of force is applied. Force means in the form of torque or in the form of torsion or in the form of RPM. We are not applying any force on the rotating shaft. कारण ज्यावेळेस शाफ्ट हा रोटेट व्हायला स्टार्ट होतो त्यावेळेस ऑटोमॅटिकली त्याच्यामध्ये एक प्रकारचा टॉर्क जनरेट होतो. And that value we have to calculate. So torque is equal to force into the perpendicular distance. So this is the basic introduction related to the shaft, that is when the shaft is subjected to the torsion, and if it is subjected to the torsion, how it is subjected to the twisting moment. If it is subjected to the twisting moment, how the shear stress and the shear strain will be developed in the rotating shaft. So this is the basic introduction related to the shaft. I have given some examples also related to our hand, related to the axles of the four-wheelers or the tractors, how they are braking and on which parameter we have to focus more. That we have discussed in this particular basic introduction. Okay, so this is related to the basic introduction of the shaft, which parameters we have to calculate. Getting understood? How the shaft is subjected to the shear stress, shear strain, what is meant by the twisting moment. समजलंय सगळ्यांना?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. If you have any questions, you can ask. If you have any questions, everyone have understood. Those who are not replying, try to reply in the chat box so I can get clear that you have understood. If you have any question related to the any applications, any point you have not understood, sir, how it is developed, where it is developed, you can ask the question. You can unmute from your side and you can ask the questions. I will give the answer. It is very simple. This chapter is very simple. एकच फॉर्म्युला आपल्याला याच्यामध्ये आहे and that same formula we have to use for all the types of problem. जो काही टॉर्शन फॉर्म्युला मगाशी मी सांगितला T/J is equal to tau/r is equal to g theta by l. Same formula you have to use again and again by rearranging the terms. एकच फॉर्म्युला फक्त त्याचे टर्म rearrange करायचे and we have to find out the unknown parameters. So this chapter is very simple, straightforward numericals are there and only limited parameters we have to calculate. Either twisting moment, either shear stress, either shear strain or diameter or power. Same parameters we have to calculate by using the only 2-3 variety of the formulas. Okay, so this is the basic introduction of this particular shaft. Then you are having some assumptions. We are having the assumptions made in the theory of torsion. So whenever we have to use the shaft for any particular application, ज्यावेळेस एखादा शाफ्ट मला एखाद्या ऍप्लिकेशन मध्ये यूज करायचा असतो त्यावेळेस त्या शाफ्टने काहीतरी कंडिशन सॅटिस्फाय केल्या पाहिजे. That shaft has to satisfy some condition. That shaft has to satisfy some assumptions. Therefore, the heading is given assumptions made in theory of torsion. And ha torsion concept, it is applicable for only rotating shaft. Shaft जर स्टेशनरी असेल तर त्याच्यामध्ये टॉर्क हा डेव्हलप होणार नाही. जर शाफ्ट स्टेशनरी असेल, we cannot say that the shaft is under torsion. If the shaft is in working condition, then only we can say that the shaft is under torsion, shaft is under twisting moment, like this. Then which assumptions the shaft has to consider? So the first assumption is the shaft should be perfectly straight and having uniform cross-sectional area. The shaft should be perfectly straight. Before using the shaft in any application, it should be perfectly straight from left side to the right side. For example, like this. This is the shaft. It should be perfectly straight from the left side to the right side. So whatever the cross sectional area is present at the left side, same cross sectional area should be there at the center point of the shaft, and same cross sectional area should be there at the right hand side of the shaft. That means shaft should be perfectly straight and having the uniform cross sectional area. Before putting in any application, the shaft should be perfectly straight. किंवा एखाद्या shaft मध्ये जर आपल्याला हे shear stress, shear strain, torque transmitting capacity, if we have to calculate that value, the first assumption shaft has to satisfy, that is, it should be perfectly straight and having the uniform cross sectional area. म्हणजे जेवढा cross sectional area हा लेफ्ट साइडला आहे तेवढाच cross sectional area कंटिन्यू लेफ्ट साइड पासून राइट हँड साइड पर्यंत असला पाहिजे. So this is the first assumption we have to consider. So please keep in mind these assumptions are very, very important for your MCQ questions. Then second, material of the shaft is homogeneous and isotropic. What is meant by the isotropic? Can anybody tell me? What is meant by the isotropic? This is one property of the material. What is meant by the isotropic? So this isotropic represents the material property, and now in this particular chapter we are using only one constant parameter as a capital G, which is called as a modulus of rigidity. We are not using Young's modulus E or bulk modulus K in this particular torsion chapter, because for the concept of shear stress and for the concept of shear strain, only this modulus of rigidity or shear modulus constant is applicable. In the concept of shear stress and in the concept of shear strain, or for this particular torsion of the circular shaft, only this G, that is modulus of rigidity, will be applicable. The capital E or capital K will not be applicable in this particular chapter number 4, that is torsion of circular shaft. Then what is meant by the isotropic? So isotropic represents, it is the property of material, and if this shaft is having same material property in all directions. For example, this is the point, this is the point, this is the X direction of the shaft, this is the Y direction of the shaft, and this is the Z direction. If this modulus of rigidity will be same in all the three directions, then that material will be the isotropic. For example, X direction मध्ये 80 gigapascal जर एवढी मॉड्युलस ऑफ रिजिडिटी येत असेल तर तेवढीच मॉड्युलस ऑफ रिजिडिटी y डायरेक्शन मध्ये आली पाहिजे, तेवढीच मॉड्युलस ऑफ रिजिडिटी z डायरेक्शन मध्ये आली पाहिजे. इफ इट इज सेम, then I can say that the material of the shaft is isotropic. If the material is having same material property in all direction, that property is called as a isotropic properties. Please keep in mind, if the material is having the same material properties, or here for the shaft, if the shaft is having the same modulus of rigidity value in all the three directions, then that shaft material will be considered as a isotropic material. म्हणजे एका पॉइंटला जर तिन्ही डायरेक्शन मध्ये G ची व्हॅल्यू जर सेम येत असेल तर दॅट मटेरियल विल बी द आयसोट्रॉपिक. देन व्हॉट इज मीन बाय होमोजिनियस? मग आता सांगताना मी तुम्हाला एका पॉइंटचं सांगितलं, असे ह्या शाफ्ट मध्ये नंबर ऑफ पॉइंट आहेत, नंबर ऑफ पार्टिकल आहेत, हे सगळे पार्टिकल एकत्र होऊनच तुमचा शाफ्ट तयार झालेला आहे. बघा, इफ शाफ्ट इज मेड बाय द कास्ट आयर्न, इन दॅट पर्टिक्युलर कास्ट आयर्न सो मेनी कास्ट आयर्न पार्टिकल्स आर देयर. मग त्या प्रत्येक पार्टिकलची जर मटेरियल प्रॉपर्टी सेम येत असेल तर दॅट मटेरियल विल बी कन्सिडर्ड ॲज ए होमोजिनियस. Getting what is the difference between isotropic and homogeneous? Isotropic means एकाच पॉइंटचा आपण विचार केला, जर एका पॉइंटला जर मटेरियल प्रॉपर्टी सेम येत असेल, म्हणजे एक्स डायरेक्शन मध्ये पण तीच, वाय डायरेक्शन मध्ये पण तीच आणि झेड डायरेक्शन मध्ये पण तीच मटेरियल प्रॉपर्टी येत असेल तर दॅट मटेरियल विल बी द आयसोट्रॉपिक. अशा प्रत्येक पार्टिकलला जर सेम मॉड्युलस ऑफ रिजिडिटी व्हॅल्यू येत असेल तर दॅट मटेरियल इज ऑल्सो कॉल्ड ॲज ए होमोजिनियस मटेरियल. म्हणजे एक जीव आपण जे काय म्हणतो, by combining this all the particles, if one component is prepared, बघा हे मटेरियल आपण तयार केलेला आहे, हा शाफ्ट आपण तयार केला आहे, जर कास्ट आयर्नचा असेल तर असे कास्ट आयर्नचे नंबर ऑफ पार्टिकल तर एकत्र होऊनच हा शाफ्ट काय झालेला आहे, तयार झालेला आहे. मग त्या प्रत्येक पार्टिकलची जर मटेरियल प्रॉपर्टी तिन्ही डायरेक्शन मध्ये जर एकच येत असेल तर दॅट मटेरियल इज ऑल्सो कॉल्ड ॲज ए होमोजिनियस. This is the second condition the shaft has to satisfy. Then third one is very simple. Twisting of the twisting is uniform along the length of the shaft. ज्यावेळेस आपण शाफ्ट ट्विस्ट करतो म्हणजे एका साइडला जर शाफ्ट फिक्स असेल आणि दुसऱ्या साइडला जर फ्री असेल आणि फ्री साइडला जर आपण शाफ्ट ट्विस्ट केला देयर शुड बी द युनिफॉर्म ट्विस्टिंग. असं नाही की लगेच फ्री एंडला इट इज मॅक्सिमम, at the center point again it is maximum, at the fixed point again it is maximum. So uniform twisting will be taking place. At the free end twisting is maximum, at the point, at the center point somewhat less, at the fixed point somewhat less. So like that uniform twisting should be taking place in the rotating shaft. ज्यावेळेस आपण शाफ्ट वर टॉर्क अप्लाय करणार आहे त्यावेळेस जे काय त्याचं ट्विस्टिंग होणार आहे that twisting should be uniform and it depends upon the condition. तो शाफ्ट तुमचा कुठल्या कंडिशन मध्ये आहे based on that also the twisting of the shaft will be taking place. Then fourth one, the circular shaft remains circular after twisting. बघा shaft is circular in cross section, it is having diameter. ज्यावेळेस आपण त्याला ट्विस्ट करतो it should remain circular in section. असं नाही इनिशियली शाफ्ट इज इन सर्क्युलर पोझिशन आणि ट्विस्टिंग केल्यानंतर त्याचा रेक्टँगल झालाय किंवा ट्विस्टिंग केल्यानंतर त्याचा स्क्वेअर झालाय किंवा ट्विस्टिंग केल्यानंतर त्याचा ट्रायंग्युलर सेक्शन झालाय. It should not be happen. Twisting is taking place, no problem. But before twisting, shaft should be in circular section, and after twisting also, shaft should be in circular section only. That condition has to satisfy. And twisting पण हे कसं होणार आहे सर्क्युलर डायरेक्शन मध्येच किंवा ट्विस्टिंग जे काय होणार आहे ते इट इज ऍप्लिकेबल अलॉंग द ऍक्सिस. ट्विस्टिंग जे होणार आहे शाफ्टचं ते कुठं होणार आहे इट इज अलॉंग द ऍक्सिस. जर आपण शाफ्ट हे सर्क्युलर डायरेक्शन मध्ये ट्विस्ट करत असेल तर त्याचं ट्विस्टिंग पण कसं होणार आहे सर्क्युलर डायरेक्शन मध्येच होणार आहे. Therefore, before twisting, shaft should be in circular section, and after twisting also, shaft should be in circular section. That condition also shaft has to satisfy. Then, the maximum shear stress induced in shaft does not exceed the elastic limit. We have also discussed in the chapter number 1. एखाद्या जर मटेरियल त्याचं लिमिट क्रॉस केलं there is a possibility of failure. If your shaft will sustain the stress up to 150 Newton per mm square. So this is the maximum limit of the shaft. Means the shaft can sustain the stress up to 150 Newton per mm square. That means less than 150, any value can sustain. For example, 145, 149, 140, 130, 10 Newton per mm square, 50 Newton per mm square. Any value which is less than 150 Newton per mm square, that value shaft can sustain. But if your stress value exceeds the limit of 150, for example 165, our limit is 150 and we are applying the stress up to 165, there is a possibility of failure. Therefore, here they have given the statement 5, the maximum shear stress induced in the shaft does not exceed the elastic limit. एकदा का तुमच्या शाफ्टने त्याचं इलास्टिक लिमिट क्रॉस केलं की देयर इज अ पॉसिबिलिटी ऑफ फेल्युअर. कारण इलास्टिक लिमिट पर्यंत जर आपण त्या शाफ्टवरचा जर फोर्स रिलीज केला दॅट शाफ्ट ऑल्सो कम टू देअर ओरिजिनल पोझिशन. इलास्टिक लिमिट आपला पॉइंट काय सांगतो इट इज द प्रॉपर्टी ऑफ मटेरियल वेअर इफ आय विल रिमूव्ह द फोर्स बॉडी रिगेन टू इट्स ओरिजिनल पोझिशन. बट once we will cross the elastic limit आणि जरी आपण त्या अप्लाय केलेल्या शाफ्ट वरचा फोर्स आपण रिलीज केला पण तुमचं इलास्टिक लिमिट क्रॉस झाल्यामुळे शाफ्ट डज नॉट रिगेन टू इट्स ओरिजिनल पोझिशन. मीन्स देयर इज अ ऍक्च्युअल डिफॉर्मेशन स्टार्टेड. So always keep in mind whatever the maximum stress induced in the shaft it does not exceed the elastic limit. म्हणजे आपल्याला पहिल्यांदा माहित पाहिजे we have to apply the stress up to 150 Newton per mm square. म्हणजे त्याच्यानुसारच आपण त्या शाफ्टला रोटेट केलं पाहिजे किंवा त्याच्यानुसारच आपण त्या शाफ्टवर टॉर्क अप्लाय केला पाहिजे जेणेकरून तुमचा डेव्हलप झालेला स्ट्रेस हा 150 न्यूटन पर mm स्क्वेअर पेक्षा कमीच असला पाहिजे. दिस इज आय एम गिव्हिंग वन एक्झाम्पल. सपोज वन शाफ्ट इज डिझाइन फॉर 500 न्यूटन पर mm square. So that shaft can sustain the stress up to 500 Newton per mm square, no problem. 500 च्या कुठली पण व्हॅल्यू तो सस्टेन करेल. But if we एक्सीड द लिमिट ऑफ 500 पेक्षा जर जास्त त्याच्यामध्ये स्ट्रेस इंड्यूस होत असेल तर त्या ठिकाणी एक कंडिशन अशी येणार की द शाफ्ट विल गेट ब्रेक इनटू द टू पार्ट्स. देयर इज अ पॉसिबिलिटी ऑफ फेल्युअर. Therefore, the maximum shear stress induced in the shaft does not exceed the elastic limit. मग प्रत्येक शाफ्ट साठी त्याचं लिमिट वेगवेगळं असणार आहे अँड इट डिपेंड्स ऑन द ऍप्लिकेशन. कुठल्या ऍप्लिकेशन साठी आपण शाफ्ट वापरतोय बेस्ड ऑन दॅट द व्हेरिएशन ऑफ द shear stress will be there. And then sixth one, the torque applied on the shaft is perpendicular to the axis of rotation. बघा, this is the shaft. shaft ची फ्रंट साइड आहे. This is the axis. आणि वी आर अप्लाइंग द टॉर्क ऍट द आउटर पेरिफेरी. शाफ्टच्या आतमध्ये आपण कधीच टॉर्क अप्लाय करू शकत नाही. आतल्या बाजूला आपण शाफ्टच्या कधीच टॉर्क अप्लाय करू शकत नाही. द शाफ्ट इज रोटेटिंग मीन्स द टॉर्क इज अप्लाइड ऍट द आउटर पेरिफेरी अँड दॅट अप्लाइड टॉर्क इज परपेंडिक्युलर टू द ऍक्सिस ऑफ रोटेशन. बघा, दिस इज पॉइंट O आणि दिस इज द ऍक्सिस ऑफ रोटेशन परपेंडिक्युलर. This is a perpendicular means this represents the radius of the shaft. The applied torque is equal to perpendicular to the axis of rotation. मग perpendicular व्हॅल्यू कुठली आहे तर पॉइंट O पासून आउटर पेरिफेरी पर्यंत जे काय डिस्टन्स आहे that distance is represented by the radius of the shaft and that radius is called as a perpendicular distance between torque value and the axis of rotation. That's why I have given the definition. Torque is equal to force into perpendicular distance. म्हणजे ह्या टॉर्कच्या आउटसाइड आपल्या झालेला फोर्स आणि त्याच्यामधला परपेंडिक्युलर डिस्टन्स आणि ते परपेंडिक्युलर डिस्टन्स म्हणजे आपण काय इंडिकेट करतोय तर रेडियस ऑफ द शाफ्ट बिकॉज इट इज रिप्रेझेंट द परपेंडिक्युलर. ह्या पॉइंट O पासून ह्या शाफ्टच्या आउटर पेरिफेरी मधलं जे काय डिस्टन्स आहे दॅट इज परपेंडिक्युलर डिस्टन्स आणि ते म्हणजेच काय रेडियस ऑफ shaft. So these are the assumptions the shaft has to satisfy. So what is the first assumption? Shaft should be perfectly straight and uniform cross-sectional area. The material of the shaft is isotropic. म्हणजे एका पॉइंटचा जर आपण विचार केला त्या पॉइंटला तिन्ही डायरेक्शन मध्ये एकच मटेरियल प्रॉपर्टी असली पाहिजे आणि अशी नंबर ऑफ पार्टिकल जर शाफ्ट मध्ये असेल आणि त्या प्रत्येक पार्टिकलची जर यंग's मॉड्यूलस व्हॅल्यू सेम असेल तीन डायरेक्शन मध्ये तर दॅट मटेरियल इज होमोजिनियस अँड आयसोट्रॉपिक. The twist is uniform along the length. शाफ्टला ट्विस्टिंग मोमेंट जनरेट झाल्यानंतर इट इज युनिफॉर्म. फ्रेंडला जास्त असेल, मिडलला थोडं कमी असेल आणि फिक्स्डला त्याच्यापेक्षा थोडं कमी असेल. दॅट मीन्स युनिफॉर्म ट्विस्टिंग शुड बी देअर. सर्क्युलर बिफोर twisting it should be circular in cross section. After twisting it should be circular in cross section. Maximum shear stress in the shaft does not exceed the limit. If it is exceeds, the failure of the shaft taking place. And the definition of the torque, the applied torque on the shaft is perpendicular to the axis of rotation. जो काही shaft वर torque apply झालेला असतो तो काय असतो ह्या रोटेटिंग ऍक्सिस ला काय असतो परपेंडिक्युलर असतो आणि त्या दोन्ही मधला डिस्टन्स मीन्स इट रिप्रेझेंट्स द रेडियस ऑफ शाफ्ट. So these are the assumptions shaft has to satisfy. If shaft is satisfying these assumptions, then only we can use the shaft for the particular application or for further calculation. So these are 6 assumptions are very, very important. Sometimes the MCQ questions also asked based on this particular assumptions. Yes, understood the meaning of each and every assumptions. So you have to keep these particular assumptions in your mind. समजलंय सगळ्यांना what are these assumptions?
Yes, sir.
Okay, what about others? Everyone has understood what are the assumptions made in theory of torsion? Means assumptions satisfied by the rotating shaft. Okay, so with this today we will stop here. The remaining part that we will take in the next lecture. Thank you.